Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is fighting with the $50,000 level. I mean, 50K, it is an important psychological level. So it's clear that Bitcoin is fighting a little bit and it's not that straightforward to overcome it. Bitcoin has pushed a lot higher today, obviously touching that 50K level from where we started earlier today with the intraday low, which was at 47,750, pretty much. And it's still, though, the case that I don't see a wave 4-5 as done. So I still think that in both our orange as well as white wave count scenarios, another 4-5 pattern appears very likely. Yeah. And there's also no guarantee that this fifth wave of a third is done. And I, as you know, find it much more useful in third waves, which obviously this one is, you see it here, third wave, in third waves to simply add the relevant micro support levels against which we can focus on the ongoing uptrend, because I think the real importance, or the, let's say the skill of the analysis and the main part or the importance is really in identifying the support level or range, which is not too far away to make it just irrelevant, because if a support level is too far away, it's sort of pointless for trading, but also a support level that's not too close in order to generate fake stop outs. Okay, so important is to identify the micro support level that tells us, not with certainty, but with a very, very high likelihood that if that breaks, then we have a more substantial top in place. Yeah. So what we don't want, for example, is for the price to do this, break support and then rally. Yeah. Then we wouldn't have set the support level in a good way. It shouldn't be too far away. So I have tried to find a support range, as you know, over the last few days already. We did that. And the market didn't break it, so we just simply follow the trend. And, we talk about that support level in this video. It's just a level that traders can use to identify when they are not on the right side of the trend any longer. So I need to be able to say, as an analyst, but also as a trader, when does the trend change and when does this Elliott Wave upside structure most likely break, because that will be an indication that we will, with a high likelihood, revisit the support area down here, which is between 41,840 and 35K. We might not necessarily go all the way down to 35K, but I think it's quite likely in the orange count, provided it works out, to revisit the area between 37,922 and 41,838. It's between the 38.2 retracement and the 23.6 fib level. So why is that so important to know about that, right? Because obviously the market could do anything. The market only decides if we're going down or not. What we have to do in the analysis, we have to identify when the market has decided to do that. And for me, at the moment, measured against the latest high, that level is at $46,100. So if we get a sustained break below that level, it will be an indication for me that this C wave to the downside has started to unfold. Now, would that be bearish? No. So the orange wave count, it's also not the primary count, don't get me wrong, but this is the count for risk management, which tells me what is plan B? What is the level that I have to expect the price to get to should we break below micro support? And I'm going to focus on higher as long as we're holding above that level. So it can do, for me, it could do anything here, up or down, whatever it wants to do. Can't go left, obviously, but it can do anything. And I will not change my perspective. But if it breaks below this level, yeah, then I'll change my perspective. Until then, even if it touches 46.1K, I expect the price still to go higher. So it's very, very a very practical guidance, I think, that we can use to orient or to find orientation in the chart. So if that level breaks, then I assume that this B wave has topped but it's not bearish because it would simply indicate that this fourth wave correction, which in my primary scenario finished on the 23rd of January, that this fourth wave is still unfolding. And it would simply be a larger A, B, C structure. A B wave can always overshoot, also quite significantly. We've seen that recently on the Ethereum chart. Therefore, there is no real upside limit for a high B wave. I've been asked today, when can we rule out a high B wave? There is no way you can rule out a high B wave by just looking at price levels. It's a structure. It has to be a 5-wave move that happens to the upside. Only then I can rule out a high B wave. As long as it's only a 3-wave rally, which this is from the 23rd of January low, the risk of breaking down is obviously still there. So that means I have my micro support area and I'm watching that. And if that breaks, it tells me we are likely in the C wave down. A lot of people are waiting still for that. It might happen, but I'm not sure if the market will give it to us. Yeah, it would be great for anybody who already entered here and who's doing a bit of range trading. Buying here in the support zone, selling into resistance. Possibility to buy back in support, sell into resistance, right? But that's the short-term bearish scenario. Good news is that's also part of an overall bullish scenario. So while in this scenario, the orange wave count will likely send us down lower, the overall uptrend is not going to break. At least not from what we can see right now. At least not here on the 1-hour chart. So then in the primary count, which is the white one, I'm still focusing on higher as well. So obviously in the orange count, I forgot to say, ideally, we get another 4-5 pattern. So ideally still one more high. So even in the orange count, we should not be surprised about further upside. And it takes minimally a break below the intraday low here at 47,750 to suggest that some kind of a top is in place. And then I'm going to watch, okay, is this wave 4 in the orange count? And we still get one more high afterwards to complete the B wave. If after that top, which should be a more substantial top, the price can hold a higher low, then we should get to 55, 56K plus, which is the primary scenario at the moment, okay? So I follow higher prices against support. And in a breakout scenario, we should see those 5 waves. And I can tell you that as long as we're holding the micro support, the door to 55, 56K is open. And that should give you really all the parameters you need to know. We've got the micro support levels on the chart between 46,106 or 100 and $47,060. That's the micro support area. Only below that level, we're likely heading back into the yellow box. And to the upside, we should still see another high. Even in the B wave, we should. Then another wave 4 and another wave 5 can send us to 55K plus. And the door for that scenario remains open, and I'm going to focus on that as long as we're holding above 46K. Or let's call it 46.1K. Yeah. But it's also important to realize that until we see those 5 waves in white, we are basically in a large range. This is support, and we're just moving up in a range, and we could come back again. Could even form a triangle. I mean, all of that is not predictable really at this stage. I think the main takeaway is we're going to be in a range until we see 5 waves up. Only as soon as we have those 5 waves up, I can really confirm that this 4th wave bottomed. And then we can add the next support area, which will be a different one. Yeah. And then we are entering a new range. So hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.